Greetings, I'm DonTheCrown, and welcome to my quick guide for how to hit level 35 fast with Duelist Sunder. This guide is intended to be used for the Incursion Flashback event and will only cover leveling quickly to level 35 in order to obtain your free Apocalypse mystery box. However, you could potentially take this all the way to maps and beyond. We're going with Duelist Sunder because it has few gems to manage and Sunder is amazing for leveling. I'm going to break this guide into 3 sections: gems, passive tree, and a detailed strategy section. This section I'm going to go in depth about exactly what you're going to be looking out for in terms of gear and some other tips. If you'd like to skip ahead, timestamps are in the description. Here's the detailed overview of the primary gems we're going to be using. Note that I've left off Double Strike and Ancestral Protector Totem, which I'd recommend using for Brutus and Merveil. I'll go into detail about the gems in the detailed strategy portion of the video. Here's the complete passive tree for getting to level 35. I've included getting the additional skill points from side quests, but if you want to skip those, you'll just be missing out on some attack speed, and maybe some life. The numbers on the tree show the order in which I would get the major nodes. I would always recommend starting off with the single physical damage and life node off the base of Duelist first. Let's get into the detailed strategy portion. Since we're only aiming for level 35, our goal is to get Sunder and Leap Slam set up and get to Act 4 as quickly and smoothly as possible. As you progress through the story, you should focus on keeping your level around 3 less than the current zone's level. If you start behind, slow down a bit and kill more. More likely you'll be over leveling, since Flashback adds extra density, so try to kill only the really dense packs. Most of the time will be spent just traversing the story. Sunder does a really good job of carrying the damage, so that if you find that you're lacking damage, you should make sure that you have your skill linked up and that you have an updated weapon. I've included a loot filter in the details that should help you run this build. When you first reach town, take Cleave from Tarkley and look to purchase a red-green one-handed axe or sword. If neither are available, look for gloves, hats, or boots. You'll eventually want these links, but if you don't get them right away, it'll be okay. Just put your Cleave in an unlinked red-green-blue sword that you picked up from Hillock. Next, identify any boots, one-handed swords or axes, and equip any weapons that have damage or boots that have stats. Then sell all other items to Nessa. You should likely have around 2 to 3 wisdom scrolls now. Buy an iron ring if you can, otherwise buy the rustic sash with the highest physical damage roll. If you can, link your Cleave with chance to bleed. As you progress through leveling, keep an eye out for one-handed axes that have physical damage mods on them, although swords will work until we get to Sunder. Leave town and go kill Hailrake and return to town with a medicine chest. If you leveled up, you can check the vendors again for a red-green if you don't have one yet. Vendors reset every level up. Link Cleave to Onslaught, and at very best, link in chance to bleed as well. Waypoint back to the coast and continue progressing through the story. Keep an eye out for weapon upgrades, such as Copper Sword or Jade Hatchet. Note that if your weapon has a red-green, prioritize that over a damage upgrade. Once you reach the lower prison, return to town. Get Ancestral Protector Totem from Tarkley and added fire support from Nessa, and have as much of the following as possible in this priority: 1 large life flask, 1 jade hatchet or copper sword, 1 to 2 iron rings, 1 rustic sash, 1 chest armor, and 1 amber amulet. Once you hit level 8, added fire support should replace chance to bleed in your Cleave links, but keep leveling it if you can for Double Strike. Head back into the prison and go to Brutus. As you get to Brutus, make sure that your highest DPS weapon is in your main hand. Equip your body armor, and make sure you have Double Strike chance to bleed set up, with added fire as an extra bonus, and Ancestral Protector. Head into the Brutus fight, and between you, your totem, and a large life flask, it should be easy to tank most of Brutus's hits. Just make sure not to get hit by his slam. Once he dies, pick up everything you can, and log out and log back into your character. You will be in town, and you get the next waypoint automatically for killing the boss. Sell extra loot and get Leap Slam from Tarkley. If you don't have an amber amulet and can't buy one, look for a heavy belt. You'll need some extra strength to use Leap Slam. Worst case scenario, you'll have to waypoint back to town in the ship graveyard. Typically by this point you want to be around level 8 or 9. If you have the extra wisdom scrolls, picking up a sapphire ring can help a lot in Mervale's caverns. Head towards Mervale. Don't forget to have Cleave Onslaught Added Fire set back up again if you changed your gems to kill Brutus. Killing monsters in Prisoner's Gate is typically pretty good for experience. Once you hit level 10, equip Leap Slam and use it to travel. Now you'll likely want 2 to 3 mana flasks and will want to get rid of that Quicksilver flask. Although it might feel odd at first, it is much better to travel with Leap Slam. Once you get to Mervale, set up similar to Brutus with Double Strike again. Once you kill her, log out again and head back to town. You should be able to purchase Sunder now from Nessa. If you don't have a boarding axe yet, this might be a good chance to buy one from Tarkley. Head towards Act 2. Here's my preferred order for Act 2. I head over to Chamber of Sins, then Western Forest for the Weaver, and then do Bandits. Helping Oak, Alira, or Nun are all valid options here, although I'd lean towards Alira if you plan to go past level 35. Once you get to level 12, replace Cleave for Sunder, and make sure you have an axe in your main hand from here on out. Keep upgrading your main hand weapon for the best possible physical damage you can find. If you can't find a good magic or rare axe, you can use the Rustic Recipe. The Rustic Recipe is when you vendor a weapon along with the blacksmith's whetstone and a magic or higher rustic sash, you will receive a weapon with % physical damage automatically rolled on it. Whatever weapon you have in your offhand doesn't matter at all. Sunder only attacks with your main hand. At level 16, you should unlock Herald of Ash and Blood Rage, and at 18, melee physical damage should replace Added Fire in your 3-link, and faster attacks should be linked to your Leap Slam. These will be the last major skill changes until we unlock Hatred at 24. Typically, I turn off Herald of Ash so that I have enough mana while using Hatred. Keep progressing through the story and upgrading your weapon. It's a good idea to grab some Topaz rings for both Piety and Dominus. Cold Resistance is rather nice for the Scepter of God. Hopefully you found some decent rare armor upgrades along the way to help pad out your life and resistances. If not, Rogue Exiles are great targets to find rare items. Once you reach the Aqueduct, it's time to stop progressing and start farming. Both the Aqueduct and Dried Lake are decent places to farm experience until you hit 35. I would run whichever has better flashback mods that hour. Overall, a great pace would be to hit 35 within 2 hours. However, don't be ashamed if it takes you much longer than that. That's it for this guide. However, I'm looking at creating a few more short, leveling focused guides. If that's something you're interested in, please let me know either in the comments or catch me live at twitch.tv/DonTheCrown.